Okay, so buckle up because if you ever thought your life was a roller coaster, wait till you hear mine. It's been almost 5 months since I filed for divorce, and let me tell you, it feels like 5 years. Every single day drags on with this weird mix of dread and desperate hope that maybe, just maybe today will be the day something finally moves forward. But nope. The universe, my soon-to-be ex, and apparently the legal system itself all seem to have other plans. The original court date was supposed to be September. I circled it in red on my calendar. You know, like a finish line at the end of a marathon where I could finally collapse and just breathe again. But then she finally got herself a lawyer, after months of stalling, mind you, and her lawyer withdrew some motion. Suddenly, poof, the date gets pushed to next year. Early next year, but still months away. When my lawyer called to tell me, he said it was par for the course. Like, this is just another Tuesday in divorce land. He said it was the judge who rescheduled it, but honestly, it felt personal. Not going to lie, I'm nervous as hell about why she's dragging this out. Is she playing some kind of game? Does she think if she stalls long enough I'll just give up and run back to her? Or maybe she's hiding something bigger than even I know about. These thoughts just eat at me, especially late at night when it's quiet and I'm lying there alone in my new apartment out of state. Oh yeah, did I mention that part? I got a new job out of state and it's actually going well. For once in my life I feel like things might turn around if only this divorce would finally end. But every time I start to settle in or get excited about buying my own place, boom, another email from her pops up. And these aren't just polite little check-ins or how are you messages either. No, she's bombing me with emails, texts, even voicemails begging me to try again to stay with her. At first, I'll admit it got to me. I mean, we had years together. We built a life, the house, the plans for retirement, all that stuff you're supposed to look forward to as you get older with someone you trust. But after everything that happened, trust is gone. One day after work, she left me 12 messages in a row, 12, saying how sorry she was and how much she missed me and how we could fix things if I just come home. So finally one night, I think it was 2 months ago, I broke down and said, fine, if you want me back so badly, come clean about everything. I wanted the truth more than anything else in the world at that point. I needed to know what really happened, not just between her and her boss, oh yeah, we'll get there, but everything else too. She hesitated for a second, a long second, and then flat out refused. She wouldn't do it, so that was that. As much as it hurt, and trust me it hurt, I didn't withdraw the divorce petition, but even now I still have days where I question myself. Did I make the right choice? Should I have tried harder? Would we have fixed things if we'd gone to counseling or hit reset somehow? Some mornings I wake up missing her so badly that it physically aches. But then the memories come flooding back like a tidal wave. First, there's her boss. God, where do I even start with him? The whole thing started innocently enough, or so I thought. She'd gotten this new job and suddenly she was working late all the time. Business trips here and there, always with him helping her prepare for presentations or taking her out for celebratory dinners when they landed a big client. One night, I remember this crystal clear. I called her hotel room while she was away on business in Dallas. She picked up on the third ring, sounding breathless and annoyed that I'd interrupted something important. I asked if everything was okay and she snapped at me. It's late here, can't this wait? Then quickly hung up before I could say anything else. Next day she texted saying her boss had taken the whole team out for drinks and they didn't get back until after midnight. That's why she sounded tired. But something about her voice stuck with me. Something wasn't right. A few weeks later, I found an Uber receipt in our shared email account. It was from his apartment complex back to her hotel at 1 a.m. When I confronted her about it, she spun some story about everyone hanging out at his place after dinner because his apartment had a great view of the city skyline and he had a collection of rare whiskey everyone wanted to try. I wanted so badly to believe her, but deep down I knew. But here's where things really get wild. The boss wasn't even the only one. Looking back now, with this weird sense of clarity that comes after your heart's already been broken, I see all these breadcrumbs scattered through our marriage, the late-night texts from numbers she wouldn't explain, sudden interest in old friends from social media. There was one thing I never mentioned to anyone before, something that still gives me chills when I think about it. One afternoon while she was out shopping, her phone lit up with a message notification. A man's name popped up on the screen. Now here's what makes this so insane. This guy went to my high school back home in the States, my little hometown where everyone knows everyone else, and my wife is from Europe. There's no way she should have his number or any reason for his name to be showing up on her phone. When I asked her about it later that night, she looked genuinely confused at first, or maybe she was just acting, who knows anymore, she said. I don't know him, that must be some mistake, maybe my phone glitched. The next morning over coffee she doubled down. I googled it last night, sometimes random names just get added to your contacts list by accident. Seriously, do phones just randomly pick names from halfway across the world and add them to your contacts? Come on. That was when everything inside me just snapped into place. The boss, the secretive text, the random hometown connection. She hadn't just cheated once. This had been going on for years with at least 2 men, her boss and an old boyfriend from my past life back home. After that realization, the sadness turned into anger and then fear, because now comes the part nobody talks about when marriages fall apart: money. We've got all this equity tied up in our house, the house we bought together thinking we'd grow old there, and suddenly half of everything might disappear overnight because of choices she made behind my back. I keep asking myself, would things be different if our roles were reversed? If I were the wife and she was the husband, would people just assume I'd get half without question? My whole future depends on this settlement, my retirement money. Even being able to buy another place of my own someday, instead of living paycheck to paycheck, starting over from scratch in some rental apartment miles away from everyone I know. Some nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, running numbers over and over in my head. If we sell for X amount minus realtor fees, if we split her 401k 50-50, will there be enough left for both of us? But what if she fights dirty? What if she lies about assets or tries to drag this out until there's nothing left? Every time my phone buzzes with an email from her or her lawyer, my stomach sinks. Not because of what they're asking for, though sometimes those demands are outrageous, but because every message means more delays, more bills, more time wasted stuck in limbo while my life is on hold waiting for someone else's decision about my future. And yet, even knowing all this, even remembering every betrayal, I still have days where nostalgia creeps in like smoke under a door. The way we used to laugh together over stupid TV shows, the way her hand fit perfectly into mine when we walked around our neighborhood, the plans we made for kids we never had, sometimes late at night when loneliness hits hardest. I wonder if maybe forgiveness would have been possible if only she'd told me the truth instead of spinning lie after lie, until neither of us knew what reality was anymore. But every time those thoughts start pulling me back toward regret, I see those emails again. The way she begged me not because she loved me but because she didn't want me leaving her first. The bitterness creeps in then, not sharp like before but dull. A slow ache somewhere deep inside, knowing no matter how hard I try or how many times lawyers reschedule dates or judges shuffle papers around, I'll never really get closure from someone who can't even admit what they did wrong in the first place. Recently, a couple weeks ago actually, I decided enough was enough. No more checking emails after 6 p.m., no more rereading old texts looking for hidden meanings. No more letting her dictate whether today will be good or bad based on whether SHES feeling guilty or lonely or vindictive today instead of tomorrow. Instead, I started focusing on work, throwing myself into projects at my new job until exhaustion drowned out everything else except brief flashes of hope that maybe someday soon I'll walk into a place that feels like home again without wondering who slept there before me or whether any promises made there will actually be kept this time around. Of course, not everyone understands why things take so long or why some days are better than others. Friends call asking if there's any news yet. Family members send awkward texts offering advice nobody really wants. Just move on already, as if healing were as simple as flipping a switch. But unless you've lived through this, unless you've watched someone you trusted turn into a stranger right before your eyes, you can't possibly understand how complicated moving on really is when every piece of your past is tangled up with lies you didn't even know existed until too late. And now, with yet another court date looming months away, I'm stuck trying not to let fear win out over hope, trying not to obsess over worst-case scenarios where lawyers chew through everything we work for and leave nothing but empty bank accounts and broken dreams behind. Sometimes late at night, I replay conversations in my head wondering what would happen if things had gone differently. Me, if you want another chance, you have to come clean. Her pauses, why can't you just believe me? Me, because believing you almost destroyed me. Her silence, me, voice breaking, just tell me who else. Her voice cold, you're being paranoid. Me, then prove me wrong. Her sighs, I can't give you what you want. Me, nods, then neither can I. And there it is, the final nail in our coffin, hammered in by words left unsaid, the truth never spoken because lies were easier than facing consequences. Most days now, I focus on practical stuff. Boxes packed, neatly labeled, so whenever this ends I can hit ground running somewhere new without looking back. But then a memory will hit out of nowhere. The way she'd smile across dinner table catching my eye mid-conversation. Or how we dream aloud together while painting walls in rooms meant for children who never came. And suddenly it's not anger anymore, but grief. Grief for all those lost futures buried under secrets I'll never fully uncover. And that's when I'm most afraid, not of losing money or property, but losing faith altogether, that maybe love is just another lie people tell themselves until reality rips off its mask. Yet even then, even now, I can't help hoping one day I'll find someone honest, someone real. But first, I need closure, need answers only courts can provide since she's unwilling or unable to speak them herself. In the meantime, all I can do is keep moving forward, one day at a time. Waiting for freedom promised but never quite delivered. Because here's what nobody tells you even when paperwork's done. Settlement signed, keys handed over. The scars don't disappear, they linger beneath skin like invisible tattoos reminding you daily what happens when trust dies quietly behind closed doors. And yet I refuse to let bitterness win entirely, refuse to become one more casualty swallowed whole by someone else's selfishness. Instead, I'm choosing hope, choosing honesty. Choosing me for first time in years. And maybe that's biggest revenge after all, not getting half house or chunk 401k, but reclaiming peace's soul lost a long way. And if you're listening, if you've ever found yourself staring down barrel of betrayal wondering whether you'll survive aftermath, know this, you will, and so will I, even if road ahead's longer than expected. Because sometimes greatest stories aren't ones we planned, but ones we're forced to write ourselves after curtain falls on fairy tale we thought would last forever. And as much as I'd like neat ending tied up with bow, truth is life's messier than that. Sometimes villains win battles, but heroes survive wars by refusing to become monsters themselves. And that's the lesson I'm clinging to now while waiting for justice system's slow grind to finally set me free. But here's twist nobody saw coming. Yesterday I got voicemail from old friend back home, the very same guy whose name showed up on wife's phone months ago. He sounded nervous, that he wanted to talk face to face next time I'm visiting family because there's something important he needs to confess about past year. You'd think after everything I'd stop being surprised, but suddenly every suspicion I've ever had feels dangerously close to true revelation. Do I want answers, or am I better off never knowing full extent betrayal? Is closure worth pain, discovering secrets better left buried? Because part of me fears final truth won't set me free, but destroy whatever pieces heart I've managed salvage so far. But either way, one thing's clear, the story isn't over yet.